What a breaking news! In the polished world of royal facades, where every public smile hides a private grudge and every royal wave conceals a clenched fist of resentment, the Invictus Games has pulled back the curtain on one of the most uncomfortable truths in the House of Windsor. Prince William is seething with jealousy. Not just envy, not just irritation, but a slow-burning, ego-bruising jealousy that has now erupted into whispers flooding mainstream headlines. From People to Page 6, the truth can no longer be suppressed. Prince Harry's success, his authentic leadership, and his unwavering dedication to causes that matter have left his older brother in a very undignified position, exposed, insecure, and unmasked for the hollow figure he truly is. It's ironic. For years, the British media tried to brand Prince Harry as the spare, the wild card, the one who lacked vision, discipline, or intelligence. They said he was reckless, emotional, and lost. But now the very institutions that once mocked him are scrambling to catch up to the truth. Prince Harry is the royal who matters. He is the one who actually works. He is the one who doesn't need palace privilege or taxpayer-funded PR to be relevant. He creates relevance through action. Invictus, Scottys Little Soldiers, Wellchild, the Halo Trust, African Parks, and Centre Barley. These aren't just royal patronages collecting dust. They are movements transforming lives, stewarded by a man who leads with heart, not hierarchy. Meanwhile, what is Prince William doing? Nothing of consequence. He remains the ornamental heir, propped up, polished, but empty of vision. He has been given every advantage since birth, trained since childhood to be king one day, and yet, when presented with the opportunity to build something meaningful of his own, he defaults to the one thing he knows: vanity. Whether he's posing next to trees and calling it environmentalism, or attending galas with the same vacuous stare, William seems incapable of producing anything with real-world impact. And now that the world is applauding Prince Harry's global success with Invictus, it's tearing William up inside. The truth is, William never expected Harry to thrive. He was told his whole life that Harry was the weaker link, that the monarchy would only shine through his own ascension. But reality has flipped the script. Harry walked away from the institution, rejected the toxic protocols, and still built something more impactful than William ever has or will. The Invictus Games are not just successful. They are groundbreaking, a global platform for wounded veterans that speaks to courage, resilience, and purpose. And more importantly, it's not a charity built for photo ops. It's a family, a sanctuary, a movement. Harry didn't inherit Invictus. He conceived it. He built it from the ground up with sweat, trauma, humility, and love. That's what burns William most, because he doesn't understand the kind of work that requires getting your hands dirty. He only understands ribbon cutting and stage managing. Harry, on the other hand, builds from the heart. Every organisation he touches carries a part of his soul, and that is something William, trapped in his royal bubble, simply cannot comprehend. According to People, a royal insider confirmed that Prince William was surprised by the success of Harry's Invictus Games. A degree of jealousy, they added. How diplomatic. The reality is far more humiliating. William is furious. He can't get over the fact that Harry is more loved, more respected, and more authentic, because Harry earned every ounce of praise with no palace behind him. Meanwhile, William is surrounded by advisors, spin doctors, and image consultants, and still manages to inspire indifference at best and contempt at worst. The headlines from Page 6 went even further. Prince William jealous over the success of Prince Harry's Invictus Games, the article declared, as royal experts lifted the lid on years of competitive tension. But jealousy doesn't quite cover it. What William is experiencing is an identity crisis. He was raised to believe that power and popularity would come automatically, just by being the firstborn. But Harry has shattered that myth. With authenticity, empathy, and tireless commitment, Harry has demonstrated that leadership is not about titles, it's about impact. Let's compare, shall we? Harry's Invictus Games has changed the lives of thousands of wounded veterans, brought international partners together, and redefined how society views disability and recovery. He doesn't just show up. He competes. He connects. He cries with the athletes. He lifts their spirits and shares in their victories. It's real. It's raw. It's revolutionary. William? He plants a tree, smiles stiffly, gives a vague quote about the environment or mental health, then leaves in a Range Rover, his tailored suit still untouched by the dirt of actual effort. His Earthshot prize, despite the media hype, has failed to match the grassroots authenticity or emotional weight of anything Harry touches. Earthshot feels more like a brand campaign than a legacy. Invictus feels like a soul's calling. Harry's heart is in every project he touches. Whether comforting grieving children through Scottys' Little Soldiers, empowering African communities through sentenale, walking through minefields like his mother did with the Halo Trust, or ensuring wildlife and communities thrive together with African parks, Harry is present, intentional, and sincere. You can't fake that. You can't replicate that with PR. You either have it or you don't, and William clearly doesn't. What makes this all the more humiliating for William is that the public sees it. Despite the smear campaigns, the toxic press briefings, and the royal family's orchestrated silence, people are waking up. They see who the true leader is. And it's not the man in line for the throne, it's the man who walked away from it. But let's be honest, William could do wonderful things. He has the resources, the influence, the global spotlight. He could lead initiatives that change the world, but he's too lazy, too arrogant, too passive. He wants glory without labour. He wants the applause without earning it. And the saddest part, he thinks titles will protect him from irrelevance. They won't. The monarchy has always banked on tradition to validate its relevance. But in today's world, relevance comes from purpose, and no amount of ceremony can hide the fact that William lacks it. He is coasting on inherited power, while his younger brother, once cast aside as the spare, is rewriting what royal legacy should look like. They mocked Harry for being emotional. They called him naive. But now the world is seeing clearly. Harry's heart is his strength. It's what makes Invictus shine. It's what makes veterans trust him, children adore him, and global institutions rally behind him. William has spent his whole life avoiding vulnerability. Harry made his vulnerability a superpower. The British press once tried to convince us that Harry was dumb, that he was nothing without the royal machine behind him. But now that he's free of the institution, we see the truth. Harry is thriving. It was never the palace that made Harry shine. It was Harry himself. And now, stripped of his favourite scapegoat, William is flailing. The dumb prince myth has collapsed. And it's William who's left standing in the ruins, exposed as the one with no direction. The greatest irony of all is that William still believes he's entitled to admiration. He thinks his position alone should inspire respect, but respect is earned, not inherited, and Harry has earned it, tenfold. As the Invictus Games continues to grow, with global veterans, sponsors, and world leaders standing behind Harry, William is reduced to petty envy. He is not the future of the monarchy. He is a symbol of its failure to evolve. A man who had every opportunity to lead and yet failed to rise beyond his own ego. And the world has noticed. There is no escaping it now. The image of Prince William as the stoic, capable future monarch has fractured, shattered in fact, under the weight of comparison. Because once the public saw what leadership actually looks like in the form of Prince Harry's tireless global work, William's carefully constructed facade collapsed like a house of cards. And beneath it, nothing. No substance, no vision, just empty rituals clinging to outdated power. What Prince Harry did with Invictus wasn't just start a charity event. He built a home, a safe haven for those forgotten by society, by governments, and even by their own families. Veterans wounded in battle, physically and mentally, found not just representation, but respect. They found visibility. They found family. They found themselves again. And Prince Harry didn't just observe from a platform, he dove in, played the sports, shared meals, hugged parents, sat with the grieving. He didn't lead from a podium, he led from the trenches. Because that's who he is, a man shaped by service, trauma, and empathy, a man who turned his pain into power. Now think of Prince William. When was the last time you saw him vulnerable? Emotional, human, exactly. William has built a brand on control, tight-lipped, buttoned up, perfect posture, rehearsed speeches, and an arsenal of bland expressions that reveal absolutely nothing. But in the age of emotional intelligence and authentic connection, his robotic performances no longer inspire. They repel. They remind people that this institution isn't about people. It's about pageantry, and William is its most lifeless symbol. The only thing that's grown under William's watch is resentment. Not just his own, but the public's. Because they were sold a lie. They were told William was destined for greatness, that he would modernise the crown, that he would be Diana's legacy reborn. But what did they get instead? a man who let his brother be vilified for showing love, a man who sat in silence while his sister-in-law was racially abused by the press, a man who couldn't find the strength to protect the only person who truly understood his trauma, Harry. Instead, he sided with the system. He became what Diana warned them about. And now, the distance between the brothers isn't just emotional, it's existential. Because Harry chose purpose. William chose the palace. And that decision has cost him more than just public favour. It's cost him dignity. Because now, as headlines expose his jealousy and insiders leak his insecurities, the public is beginning to ask the real question: what is Prince William for? He doesn't legislate, he doesn't lead movements, he doesn't represent the people, he doesn't create, he doesn't innovate, he doesn't do anything. He exists, like wallpaper, silent, symbolic, slowly peeling with time. That's the tragedy of William. Not that he lacks power, but that he's terrified of using it. He clings to royal protocol like a shield, afraid that if he dares step outside the script, the world will see what Harry already knows. He's unremarkable. Not because he couldn't be remarkable, but because he refuses to risk his image to try. And Harry risked everything. He walked into the storm, took the beatings, endured the slander, and still kept going. Because to him, the work matters more than the image. The mission matters more than the media. This is what separates them. William wants to be admired. Harry wants to make a difference. And that terrifies the firm. Because Harry has proven that relevance doesn't require royalty. It requires purpose. Which is why William's jealousy isn't just about Invictus. It's about irrelevance. It's about being upstaged by someone he thought was beneath him. It's about watching the world fall in love with the spare while he, the heir, fades into insignificance. The truth is, William has always been threatened by Harry's light. That's why the smear campaigns were so aggressive. That's why the royal courtiers went into panic mode every time Harry launched something successful, because William's insecurity demanded it. He needed Harry small. He needed Harry silent. He needed Harry gone. But Harry left, and instead of vanishing, he exploded onto the global stage. He didn't need a crown. He didn't need the Queen's approval. He didn't need the royal rota. He only needed one thing: freedom. And with that freedom, he built a legacy that will long outlive William's photo ops and pompous titles. Invictus will outlast William's Earthshot Prize by decades. Why? Because it's not about publicity. It's about people. It's not about prestige. It's about purpose. And it's not a competition for Harry. It's a calling. Meanwhile, William is left in the shadows. Not because Harry cast them, but because William never bothered to find his own light. And now? Now he's bitter. Now he leaks to the press. Now his friends whisper about how surprised he is by Harry's success, as if the entire world hasn't seen this coming, as if Harry hasn't been laying the groundwork for years while William coasted on PR. The irony is brutal. William spent years pretending Harry was a liability. Now it turns out Harry was the only asset the monarchy ever had. So now, here we are, the palace machine exposed, the public disillusioned, and Prince William, once styled as the monarchy's polished saviour, stripped down to what he truly is, a man whose jealousy has devoured his potential. Let's be crystal clear. This isn't just a family feud. This is a mirror held up to an institution that has relied on hierarchy, pageantry, and obedience for centuries, and it's losing control. Because what Prince Harry has done is unforgivable in the eyes of that system. He's proven that a royal title is meaningless without action, and that's the wound William can't heal from. Because every time Invictus lights up the world stage, every time Harry is cheered not as a prince but as a person, William's image crumbles a little more. His crown feels a little heavier, his silence becomes a little more deafening. Harry dared to walk away and still win, and William stayed behind and still lost. Because what good is a throne if you don't know how to lead? What good is a kingdom if you inspire no loyalty? What good is being first in line if the people's hearts are already taken by someone else? The headlines we've seen this week, Prince William jealous of Prince Harry's Invictus success, are not just juicy royal gossip. They're the funeral bells for a future king's credibility. The world now sees the difference between the brothers in full, high-definition contrast. One is building legacies from ashes. The other is polishing silver that no one cares to see. Let's face it, William had every advantage. He could have been the golden boy of the 21st century monarchy. He could have been the champion of veterans, the face of mental health, the heir who humanized royalty. Instead, he chose image over effort, proximity over purpose, status over substance. And in doing so, he left the door wide open for Harry to show the world what real leadership looks like. Harry didn't just walk through that door, he kicked it off its hinges and rebuilt the whole house. You see, this isn't just a comparison between two brothers. It's a referendum on the monarchy itself. Harry is living proof that you don't need to be king to make a kingdom proud of you. You need courage, you need vision, you need heart. William has spent his entire life waiting for a throne that's losing meaning by the minute. Harry, in contrast, found meaning in people, in service, in human connection. That's why veterans cry in his arms. That's why children smile when they see him. That's why leaders across the globe stand beside him, not because of a title, but because of trust. That's why the Invictus Games are a threat, not just to William's ego, but to everything the monarchy pretends to be. Because Invictus is real. It's earned. It's not choreographed. It's not rehearsed. It doesn't come with crowns and carriages. It comes with wheelchairs and courage and sweat and tears. It comes from work. And that's something William will never understand, because he's never done it. There is no hiding anymore. No PR trick strong enough to cover this gaping reality. Prince William is the one who looks lost now, the one who seems unsure, the one who, despite every privilege and platform, can't seem to inspire anyone beyond the walls of his own echo chamber. The monarchy's dirty secret is out. The prince they propped up can't even stand in the shadow of the one they pushed out. Because Prince Harry, through heartbreak and healing, through trauma and triumph, has become the kind of man the monarchy never deserved, but the world needed. And William? He remains stuck in place, clutching a crown, while his brother holds something far more powerful. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching, and do not forget to like, subscribe and put a comment. Bye-bye. See you on our next episode.